Ang susunod na programa ay rated PG. Ito ay nangangailangan ng patnubay at gabay ng magulang para sa mga batang manonood.
Inspiring and would-be literary scholars. This is NORTE Diaries, where the weaker side of the story gets told and everybody's tale and experiences get to be the subject of the narrative. This program is meant to underscore the importance of literature, particularly local literature. And since local literature has been put into a long hiatus, we will try to bring back the recognition that these local literatures deserve. Every week, we will feature a prominent local writer, get to hear their story on how their narratives continue to fuel their passion and love for local literature, and get insights on what should literary scholars and would-be cultural workers do in order to promote and preserve the significance of writing, reading, and literature in general. And so in today's episode, we will highlight one of the most notable persons in Laoang Northern Summer, Sir Oscar Monje, a writer, a poet, and a fictionist who has found love in reading and most of all in writing. He also has received a lot of awards and recognition for local literature and poetry writing. Among his awards is a Gawad Palanca Award in 1998 for his literary work KBL, Kasal Binyag Libing. He was also the chairman and artistic director of Kulawi, Consejo San Kultura, Literatura ug Arte nga Waray Ibabaw Nun. It's an organization that specializes on Waray, particularly Northern Summer dialect, culture and arts tradition and heritage as well as its history. He has written a lot of famous works, and among his famous works are the Mana Cordapia and the Majong San Gamhanan. At this point, everyone gets to hear the narrative of the Oscar Monje. How did his writing career start, his childhood experiences, and what pushed him to continue the career for writing despite the weight of the burden that writers face in the country. Here's the exclusive interview or group conducted with Oscar Monje. This is NORTE Diaries on the Limelight.
I was born in September 18, 1953, so I'm now 67 or going to 68. And I started here in Laoang as an elementary student up to grade 6. So, and I am the only one among my siblings who didn't study in the local Colegio de Santa Teresita High School, because I immediately went to Calbayog in the St. Vincent de Paul Seminary. So anyway, my first inkling in writing and well in generally in arts was here was there in the old house, in our old house, because we were provided. My father was a teacher and also my mother, but the difference was that he was a voracious reader and always listens to the radio. There was no TV yet, even up to the wee hours in the evening. So he was subscribing the Philippine Free Press, Time Magazine, Newsweek, and then a local graphic sometimes, and a local newsletter by Owaray Leon Oti. So by curiosity, first I was perusing, I was looking at the pages for pictures curious of why these magazines were piling in our house, and my father was always reading, and listening to the radio. So it was also an introduction to the English language, although as elementary student I was not yet I was just beginning to understand some of the words. And then my father was also every fiesta in the Putyukan, in Batag Island, just this August 4 was the fiesta. Instead of just announcing, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Miss Salvation contest, the first dama is this one, second. It was played. It was he made it into pageant. So there was a giant and then a soldier or something. So rumatanon baga, as if it was told into a story, and then introducing the winners of the beauty selection, anyway, because it was more of money. Anyway, so I was paktutom, bringing the props, and then run errand for anything. So I was mesmerized of the possibility that I could also direct or write the stories in the next generations. Anyway, I was the assistant, supposedly. And then my father also was famous almost with his monologue in every meeting of teachers, local, provincial, and even regional. He was always asked to present a monologue on the spot, with using the topic, for example, agriculture or education, and using again magic or sound effects. Anyway, that's what we call monologue. And so in the elementary, knowing the teachers knowing that I was interested and I was nasupo. How do you call nasupo? They will say, I think Oscar can,
You inherited from your
yeah,
father.
something like inherited. Or even they themselves, because I was boisterous, they say, I think Oscar can do this. So in every gathering, like or presentation, like Bataan Day, it's either I was MacArthur or I was in Japanese, or Christmas, I would be the king, Herod, or anything. And the teachers always know that I could deliver, especially my then how do you call this, grade from grade 4 to grade 6, and then during, I think I was grade 4 or grade 5, I had this declamation about the Japanese war, the Japanese period, featuring Judge Abad Santos and his son. Vengeance is not ours, it's God's. And I was winning in every contest, and then it was presented at the theater, cinema theater, for fundraising. Anyway, I did not understand that it was already art. I just did what they want me to do, because I was privileged. I will no longer be cutting grasses, from sometimes no assignments, and then I will have new clothes. And to top it all, 5 pesos was the was already a big deal at that time. So everybody will put barya into my pocket. The talent that was already there was sharpened and enhanced when I was already at the seminary, because the priest who mentored us, every time they see special talent, they develop them. So first, I was writing monologues in Filipino and in English, and then they correct the edit the text, and I would present them at the Milagrosa Academy in Calbayog or Christ the King College, or we had monthly presentation in the seminary. So in Calbayog, we were also part of the training was anyway the seminary curriculum is called classical high school. So we had Latin, we had Spanish, we had it was a heavy load for a kid who entered the seminary with short pants. It was grade 6 and public school. Then suddenly was introduced to this classical training. So anyway, I had 5 years in Calbayog. One of my favorite mentors was Father Yabaw and Father Tison, rectors and prefect of discipline, prefect of studies. They were the ones who really, how do you call it, chiseled my talent into a form. So I had award of Poet of the Year, and then they counted me Poet of the Year. So I did not. I was not proud of that Poet of the Year. Anyway, and during the graduation, my father thought I was the salutatorian because I wrote the salutatory speech, because the salutatorian could not do it. And I don't know what was I think I was one of the mental cream. It was called mental cream. But even my father, because they were there during the graduation in Calbayog, he thought I was the salutatorian. But anyway, even my classmates would tell others that Oskar was talented, whatever. So, and then after Calbayog, I continued my philosophy at Cebu, in San Carlos, not San Carlos College, but San Carlos Seminary. After that, there was martial law, so I did not study for 1 semester, and then I enrolled at the University of Santo Tomas, so literature, minor in translation. We were only 5 or 6 enrollees. So I was at the formation house as a regent seminarian, but I was studying at UST. So my first work that even now are presented by some who had the copies, ang mangingisda. It was a monologue about I don't even have the copy now, but the Milagrosians had, one of the teachers had that copy. It was a presentation I saw from my father, but in English. Ang mga isda, the fisherman who found the battle, and then when he rubbed it, the genie comes out. So that was the story was common, but the delivery was so sometimes it was funny. Actually, it was last minute. What do you call it? So my co-writers, we had a group of writers from UST and other universities, and then during that year, 1998, they said let us join the Palangka because the 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 judges were writers. So Pitlakaba, Nick Joaquin, so we were encouraged to submit because of that. Anyway, this was a full-length play in the movie category. So pelikula ini nga KBL wala pa ini ka papalabas. But then some are planning to write it as a play, as a stage play. Well, Simana Cordapia was published in the Cultural Center of the Philippines, ANI. So that's why it was one of the Norte Samarino sample of entry. Actually, it is not my best poem because it is free verse. There's no rhyme, there's no rhythm. Si Mana Cordapia masyado kareligyosa. Nasimba siya kada aga-aga na pagtikang sa porta mayo na loob. So it was just how do you call it now, the famous in the TV for spoken poetry, just like that. But it is spoken poetry in the sense that there was no spoken poetry yet at that time, the word, but free verse. Well, there's no money in writing, but according to the present batch of like Lord de Vera is one of the channel 1. He is from Tacloban, Palangka awardee, pero may nakakalo kay Calduna. So he is sharing his substitute to the old ways using the social media. So how do you call it? They have just like the songs. So you have a composition, you can now print it in YouTube or internet. It is YouTube.
Yes.
And then you can monetize them. So that is their suggestion. But the challenge, of course, is who will sponsor the publication because it is expensive. And then, syempre, since there's no money in country, when I was the editor in children's books, we had the cheapest book that can be printed in the Philippines because sponsored by the UNICEF. But then, as compared to the proliferation of English children's books, colored, madakmol pa ang papel, and then barato, so we could not compete. So the same in publishing a book. So I'm hoping that UAP Main will publish one of this, and then UST or other sponsors. I am collecting now my works because a lot of them were written during seminars, and sometimes at the back of palara, the cigarette, and then I could no longer recover it, or somebody has made it into their own. So that's why I am now collecting. So this one, Testigos and Sudang, was a contest piece in Waray, and then I just made it into this 100 stanzas. CB2. What is CB? C is 100. Oh, right? C? So, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 107 stanzas. The Testigos and Sudang. So, this is for publishing. And then sa Marinas Ratings, this is my only English collection of poetry. And then
Here draft.
60. This is the one that was featured by the second thesis writers. So kung 60 ka na nga mga siday sa aga daw kulog gabi, so I'm using my pen name Melchizedek Goposo. It was because at UST we were 5 who were called Oskar. So at the writers group, at the printing press, when somebody shout Oskar, the 5 of us will and then so the first one made his name Uski, Skippy, Uz, and then but I did not use wala na ko nagamit siya uka. So I use Milky because of my pen name Melchizedek Goposo. So this is not Milky.Gatas but Milky and Milky I. Okay, anyway. So I have one collection which is already ready for printing, Subasco. It is Waray Tagalog translation. This is also about 80 poems. And then sa Marinas 3 themes, Testigos and Sudang. And then Oras na Samar. The original is in Norte. And then I have a version of it of East to Winiste. Ibig sabihin, may ha, hino, hira, usa, tiil. So because I am most familiar to the, and then the third is in Filipino translation. So number 5 is Katkuriko. This one is not Siday but Loa. The difference between Siday and Loa is Siday is the structured form of poetry with rhyme and measurement, but the Loa is just like Manakurdapya. So Katkuriko, and then kung 60 ka na, and then I have Tagalog. This one also won a prize in poetry writing. Nakita kong nagkakarakross ang ilang pulubing overpass at iba pang mga tulang pambata at matanda. So it was the product when I was at the UST. And then I collected the poems which is either originally in Filipino and then translated to Waray and in English, or English, Filipino. So trilingual poems. The poems that I translated into 3 languages. And then number 9 is Quarantine Quivers. These are the present poems about the pandemia. So Quarantine Quivers. I think I have already 17 of this. So these are the new ones. And then my one-act plays, I also collected it so that it will become a book. Then full-length plays, this will include the full-length plays. This will include the KBL because it is equivalent to a full-length play even if it's a movie. Then I have children's books. After graduating from 8 maybe late in UST, nakatrabaho ako sa Nutrition Center of the Philippines. as editor writer of children's books, so I had also a collection of children's books. And then I gathered also my articles and columns in different publications. And then this one is that it's just started. Waray Filipino English Dictionary for writers. You will notice even in library, there are Waray dictionaries, but it is Katbalugan or Tacloban. So I am venturing to have this Waray ni Norte because with the electorate we have different. The Norte has different nomenclatures and words and nuances. For example, Sudang. Even in Tagalog, araw is sun and day. Just like in Western Samar and Tacloban. Adlaw day, adlaw sun. Pero kita, adlaw day, sudang sun. So specific. And then siki, tiil, sertil, hawak, the different, the specific equivalent of Winesti Samarino that should be taught to the children, because the Norte Samarino dialect is the, how do you call it, spoken at the house and at the school. And then I have collection of sayings, quotations in Waray, also riddles. So these are my works. It's a serious funny. How do you call it? And not teaching, not preaching, but just presenting what is happening in society, and hoping that the reader or the listener will by himself, how do you call it, catharsis, learn from what he hears. For example, nakatulog ang gugma sa kadaman nga tao, kinahanglan po kawon bangin dayuday mawara. So bakit ano kayo nakatulog ang gugma? So you see, and then people will start, even just for one second, that the reader or the listener will think deeper of what they see or hear from my writing. I think that would be enough balos to my effort. Favorite movie? All the movies of Tolkien. Do you know who is Tolkien?
No, not for me.
The maker, the writer of Lord of the Rings. Because I have the books from different, and then I saw the movies for how many times. Favorite song? Well, I composed a song, Nakatulog ang Gugma. I have a lot of favorite songs, especially Beatles and on this Apo Hiking Society. Anyway, so I will just my song that I wrote, Nakatulog ang Gugma. Favorite ni Norte sa Marnon song, no. So favorite song maybe Imagine by John Lennon.
John Lennon.
Favorite ni Norte sa Marnon song is Nakatulog ang Gugma. Favorite food is chop suey. Favorite author is Tolkien. Favorite book is Lord of the Rings. Favorite Filipino trait is the pakikisama and respect of elders. Favorite Laonganon trait is makidimunyo. No. How do you please that? Laonganon. Kasi this is generic anyway. I think we are proud of what we have here in Laang. So that sometimes we forget that the the, what we have is God given, and so we must protect them. You know, just like the
Yes.
mine in Batag Island. So we are against mining. Anyway, if you will have a superpower, what would it be? Well, stop aging. So they call me now. My classmate is Monsignor Apang, Monsignor Sosing, but they call me most senior. Direct Monsignor pero most senior. Oscar Monje. Even when I was at the Capitol, arts, the number, if we see the hierarchy of priority, let's say 1 to 100, 1 to 50. I think for DASA or ONG or even politicians, tourism, because that's part arts and culture.
Yes.
It's will turn out to be tourism, because you cannot sell tourism without the culture of the people. Because
Yes.
why would I go to Lawang or Katarman and Florik at the nanating Malaysia Mart? Ito dakong tindahan. Gaisano. Why should I pay Amalinyo? Why should I go to Gaisano when there is a lot of malls in so if I am a tourist local or foreigner, well, I will go to the places in Samar that are unique, the food that are unique, and the people, the art, the culture. So tourism is actually the seller, and what they are selling is the culture and arts. That's why I don't know if they are interested, because there is no money. They don't know, but in other countries, tourism is number one because it is their bread and butter. Just like in Boracay, you see.
To this day, much of our local writers are not receiving attention and recognition that they deserve. Yet, from Oscar Monje, we have learned that if you want to change the world, pick up your pen and write. Local literature is in a fragile state of development, but evident in the life, experiences, and literary works of Oscar Monje that local literature is slowly coming back, and its growth depends on the dedication of the writers and the support of the language community. And that's all for today's episode of NORTE Diaries. Featuring next week is Oscar Monje's Majong Sengamhanan.